So basically, you force people to conform to your perspective, and then say that it's wrong for a man to tell his wife what to do when that's the natural order. Paul was right. Society was not founded by people like think like you. They're founded by society people like think like me. Men, warriors, not Mary the first.
Paul was a fake.
It doesn't matter if he's fake or not. Your argument is Paul is fake. I'm not even talking about Paul. I'm talking about truth and morality. And the natural order. Jesus did what was consistent with nature.
Did Jesus force women to do things?
He didn't say men shouldn't do it. He said, I came to fulfill, not to deny the covenant. There's a natural order. God said, look, I am the Son of God.
Fulfill the what?
Natural order.
Yeah, but what did Jesus come to fulfill?
The covenant. He said, I did not come to destroy the covenant.
What was the covenant?
With the Jews with God, and he came to fulfill and to bring us all into it.
And what was the covenant?
There's a lot. That's a whole Bible about that. As if that's a short answer. In society, we live in. First thing you got to realize why you're wrong is we live in a society where people are told what to do all the time, right? There's a military, there's corporations. Okay, somebody's telling somebody what to do. Do you admit that? Yes or no? How can you then turn around and say it's okay for the white man to decide when someone can tell someone what to do, but not for Paul? And I can't even prove him wrong, but I'm going to expect you to do it my way and say that you're pestering me if you don't. That is cultural imperialism with logical fallacies applied in a very despicable and cowardly manner, which is the very essence of Western culture.
We are a country of.
It's a Christian country, not a cultural imperialist country. Afro-Asiatic dialect. Not Western materialism. So now earlier you said, I'm going to destroy your argument earlier, so you're forced to concede my point. Earlier you said that the people that I pester are the people who determine what the rules, right? So who are these people? The average person? Who are you referring to when I said that? You said that?
What I'm trying to say is that one person's rights can't expand so much that other people's
Did I say that was not true? This is overgeneralization. You're avoiding the argument for bullshit. That's what's wrong with feminism. That's why it needs to be dissolved. You can't avoid the argument and say, look, women need more rights. No. Look, I've been done wrong in life. If everyone thought like this, it'll be turmoil, it'll be death. You have to go by morality and logic. Okay, logically, people like me are naturally meant to rule. History shows us that with thousands of years.
Why? Who are you that's naturally?
Men. Okay, was it a woman who founded Egypt and Persia? No, it was men. The natural order is men are smarter than women. That's why we are in charge. If they were smarter than us, they would have outmaneuvered us. They would have been in charge. Without the corporate elite helping them and funding their movement to cheat people who are smarter out of their rightful place.
So, do you think men are smarter than women?
On average, yes. Just like on average, black people are taller than other people. Are taller than Asians, for example. Right? Is that racist or is it just fucking common sense? Okay?
By what measurement are men smarter than women?
Wisdom.
Wisdom?
40% of women self-identify as feminism. Feminists are attacking the family. They abort their children. That's not wisdom. By default, 40% of women automatically fail the wisdom challenge. Wisdom is applied morality. Anyone who supports a structure or an establishment that destroys morality, mother, is not wise. Can we agree with that? That is Jesus's.
What's the true basis of morality?
Man, your argument is the argument that these people made to Jesus. What is truth? You have to consider all these other people. You're making the Roman arguments. Come on, you know better than that.
What is the true basis of morality?
It is what is naturally correct. That is the exact definition of morality. Not what you say or say. What we know to be right in our souls. We know that a man is the head of the family structure.
But I don't know that myself.
How do you not know that? Okay, let me put it very simply.
It's not true.
Naturally, what happens? If a woman does not want to have sex with a man, and he wants to have sex in nature, without any law, God's law only, he forces her. That's why men are in charge.
That's called rape.
Exactly.
And men should rape.
Why do they have the power to do it? Man, you missed the point. Okay, there's white and dark and everything.
God says they don't.
Exactly. And he also says the man is the head of the fucking household. Did God send some slut? Did God send a feminist to save us or a man? Is God called the father or a woman? How could you miss that? How are you so disingenuous and selfish? What you're doing right now is complex, inspired action. I'm doing morally convicted, inspired action. That's why I'm above you with logic.
I have moral convictions and they don't.
Then-
I'm not the same as you.
And that
Trying
is
to
why you're
force
not as
something.
smart. You live in a Christian society, and your argument is society makes the rules. Most people in society agree the government is corrupt and does not represent them. Therefore, you are incorrect. Can you concede that point at least? Or are you so stubborn with your white privilege that you refuse to accept African philosophy as true, even though I poke holes in your logic with ease and you can't even begin to touch my
So
argument?
I should bend down
No, that's not what I'm saying.
because you're black
Nope.
and because you
Nope.
have a penis.
Because you cannot prove my argument wrong. Who found this society? Okay, let's start over, okay?
You can't prove it right.
Do birds fly or do they swim?
Depends.
Okay, if I tell a bird, you have to start living like a clam, is he going to be able to do it? No, because it's against his nature. In nature, how did the feces fall together? He evolved over a long period of time to have wings so he could fly. Man evolved over a long period of time, not in a white man's society, but over a long period of time in nature to rule women. That is the natural order. Anything else is Babylonian, feminist, baby killing, bra burning, family destroying, society dividing, corporate funded, Illuminati, enlightenment, sabotage nonsense. Until you understand that, you will always be less wise than I am. I promise to God.
Well, actually, most of the ancient tribes treat the women elders.
Oh, that's why the Pharaoh is a man. Try again. That's why Shaka Zulu was a man.
Like Nefertiti, the Pharaoh?
Oh, you mean the people who were assassinated by the priesthood for violating the natural order?
How about Cleopatra?
You're talking about a heretic. You use a heretic's wife as an example and a foreigner from the foreign period as an example to prove your point about ancient cultures. No, that's not going to work.
How about Elizabeth Regina?
Oh, way later in European culture where feminism comes from. Again, not going to work.
How do you know who the most of the wise elders
In Egypt?
tribes?
What civilized society? You always want to talk about society, Mom, and higher living and morality. Society. Where does society come? Civilization comes from the word for city. Civitas. It's Greek. It comes from city. Civilization. Naked. That's because you have an inferior mind. I can hear people when they're yelling. You can't. That's another reason why you're inferior. Thank you. Exactly, because this is why women weren't allowed in meetings with men, Mom. Listen, Karen, I'm going to speak very softly so you have no white excuse, no white feminist, privileged, democratic excuse. You ready? Women were not... Listen, can I finish what I'm saying, or are you such a feminist you won't even let me make my point? Women were not allowed in ancient meetings because they could not hear people out when they yell at them. They make arguments like you, and men don't respect it. We're the men in the culture. We're making the decisions. Don't let some whiny little sniveling white privileged Democrat in here and sabotage what we're trying to do. Okay, when we start yelling passionately, that's part of being a man. That's part of being a leader.
What happens after 2 men start yelling at each other?
They settle it with ritual combat, and it is taboo in Igbo culture to shed blood. Try again. You see how every one of your arguments is weak. You haven't even begun to touch one of mine. And that's why people like me are supposed to...
draw blood.
Why? Because they live in a Western society. Look at Dad's culture, Mom. Can you honestly tell me in Dad's culture, shedding blood wasn't taboo, and that, America didn't break down Nigeria, America didn't break down the black man? You can honestly tell me that. Are you so blinded by wanting to make white people look good and women look good that you can't tell the truth? I'm not. I don't care who looks good. I care about morality and the natural order. And what do we see now? As feminism progresses, we see the breakdown of the family. 80% of inmates are from single-parent homes, Mom. And guess what? The mother's a feminist bitch. You need to look that up. You think it's okay to feed my people to your prison industrial complex so you can keep your white privilege and your feminist movement intact? That's not okay. You need to see the bigger picture and stop thinking me, me, me. Stop having complex, inspired action and have moral convictions that lead to transcendence and bravery. Taste bravery, mother. Don't taste Western conformity and materialism and try to justify it, to keep crooks in charge, pretending the people have a fair share when they don't. This is a Christian society. They see it my way. They're just scared like you, and they don't speak up like me. And that's what needs to change. In a nation that says we have free speech, that is appalling. Be true to what you said on paper. Don't back away from it. Don't falsify evidence. I'm talking to your race in general, who you're representing. And anyone else who's listening would know that. The things you're saying don't come from your soul. They come from Western philosophy, and you know it.
So when people don't understand what you say, it's because...
No.
It's
when
not
you
because
can...
you were unclear, it's because...
How am I unclear? How am I unclear? Look, all the kings in the ancient world until the West starts setting foot in Egypt after the Hyksos, were men. Okay? Then all of a sudden, a heretic king named Akhenaten seeks to change the natural order, and you cite his wife as a reason why women should be in charge. Shame on you. Come on, Mom, be honest. Stop being disingenuous.
So anything that's contrary to...
Oh, so, okay, address my point then. Okay, instead of saying anything that's contrary, explain exactly why I'm wrong. I'll give you 5 minutes. Go ahead.
So anything that's contrary to the pattern that you've perceived doesn't count because it's not the right thing.
Wow, that's like saying, because I'm black, you won't listen to me. You know, that's basically your answer. It makes me, is that cowardly? Address my point. You cited Nefertiti, Mom. That's who you cited to prove that women naturally are supposed to be as equal as men in leadership positions. That's nonsense. The science shows men are better at leadership, women are better at maintenance. That's why they sit here and they look all pretty. You care about appearance like a sissy old bisexual old Freemason, right? Oh, appearance. Oh, we'll give a little bit to charity so we appear civilized. I care about morality.
So your opinion is that the best king in the world ever in all of world history was?
I don't know. But I'll tell you this, it certainly was a man, because anybody who moves in opposite to God is of the adversary. God is a man. The adversary is a fucking man who's consumed.
How do you know that God has a penis?
Because the Bible tells, the same Bible you're using to try to prove me wrong, paradoxically proves you wrong.
No, they just used a pronoun that was non-specific that has been translated.
Oh, the father, patre. You know, so all these Christians are wrong. And see, this is what I'm saying. You're challenging the male moral hierarchy of the world. How do you think that plays out, Mom? How do you think that plays out?
I'm challenging the fact that human beings...
And how does it play out? How does your actions help society?
I'm challenging the idea that the human beings...
You are challenging with speculation something that nature has proven to be true from thousands of years. That is men dominating societies.
So you didn't let me finish my sentence.
You need facts, but go ahead. You need facts.
Put some words in my
because you're
mouth.
wasting my time. Use facts or don't say anything. No one cares about your opinion. Use facts to prove your point.
Okay. There was a stone tablet in which 10 things were written. And everything else in that was not written by God.
And that's the Jewish Zionist argument mixed with the Talmud, and that's why the world's fucked up.
And there were some speeches that Jesus Christ was supposed to have given, which speeches were written down by human beings, fallible human beings.
I don't care if a donkey wrote it. If it's the truth and it's consistent with what we see in nature, it's disingenuous to make that argument. I don't care if a baby wrote it on crack. If it's the truth, it's the truth. And the truth is, people who think like you are destroying the world. America was founded on people who think like you. Look up the Age of Enlightenment, the Women's March on Versailles. Feminists created America with their Masonic allies. That is a fact. George Washington was a Mason who was open to the idea of feminism. Who was America's first feminist? A ruling class, white privileged ninny named Abigail Adams. Okay? That is widely accepted in America's quote-unquote first feminist. It's your white privilege philosophies that is killing us all with eugenics. You Margaret Sanger types. Will you please stop it and just accept it, and man is above women in nature, and that God's morality will save us and your corporate conformity will kill us.
God's morality, God's order, I accept. The rest of it is bullshit.
Oh, so you just happen to agree with the people who are killing everyone in the rest of the world. I happen to be completely adverse. You happen to be demanding that I conform and find a way to fit into their society, and I be challenging them, and you're right and I'm wrong. It's funny how your mind works, Mom. It's convenient that, a coward...
I also put those words into my mouth.
Okay, then explain.
Thank you.
Explain. Because your perspective seems like an Asian Buddhist coward kind of perspective. Oh, we're going to go hide somewhere because we're small and weak, and we're going to, make our martial arts look good so people think we're tough while we do it. No, that's not how it works. Appearances won't save us. Action, application, transferable wisdom will save us. And that's why men who were martial artists founded society. Not little weak geeks, not cowards. Men like me. If it was people like you in ancient Egypt instead of people like me, we'd all be living in the Stone Age, thinking that women are equal and that everything's okay. You people are living off the principles that men like me built from thousands and thousands of years of human wisdom. and now you're flipping it up, and everything is going to hell. The world is contaminated. Millions of people are dying from communicable and non-communicable diseases. People are aborting their babies. Crime in America is at an all-time high. We have one of the biggest incarcerated aborting their babies. Crime in America is at an all-time high. We have one of the biggest incarcerated prison populations. And this is not Christian philosophy doing it. It's not people telling you to turn the other cheek that is doing this. It is people who think like you who are breaking down the family. That is why there are single parent homes in disenfranchised communities in places called projects, because people who think from a quote-unquote, pseudoscientific, self-styled white guru way like you are killing us all. Those are the facts. And this is the weak excuse and argument, the counter argument you present? That is laughable, disgraceful, and I apologize to my white ancestors for this kind of logic coming from your people these days. This argument ended with me saying mind, body, and soul for about half an hour on the way home. Her saying the same thing. I said, look, a fish and a bird aren't the same just because they're both animals. Suitable helper. She didn't answer my suitable helper argument, mind, body, and soul. Years of patriarchy, the natural order. She wanted to use scripture, religion and spirituality, but ignored the male aspects of it and my truth. And I crushed her argument even worse than the clip you heard. Which was over, 15 minutes and 30 seconds, because I can only upload 15 minutes at a time. And then at the end of the day, she said basically, your father's going to come home and he's going to straighten you out about women. He said, look, you're going to have to, because I'm supposed to borrow the car today, right? And she said, your father's going to come home and he's going to have to talk to you about women, which implies, hey, if you don't do this, we're going to fucking, call the sheriffs and make them take you to the psych ward for your philosophy and how you were presenting it. During the course of the argument, she said, hey, I can't hear you when you yell at me. I said, look, that's why men are supposed to be in the thing, because we aren't pussies. We aren't little gays or women. We can hear other men yell and say, you know what, I understand, calm down. Or if two men start yelling, you go outside, you duke it out, we break it up, and so on. And you see that happening in Nigeria at the political meetings, right? Men are fighting and women are fucking scared. I mean, think about it.